Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Here I am trying once again to complete this video. It's like my third time that I've tried recording this video now, and hopefully this one actually sticks. I like to sit down and just fill you guys in reference to like where I have been and what plans do I have with YouTube. Am I gonna continue being here, continuing my channel? You'll find out. You guys need to find out like what happened in 2017. 2 years ago, I personally had made a promise to myself that one, I was going to finish my education. I started college back in fall of 2001, and due to circumstances, there was various reasons that stopped me from continuing my education. I would go, I would stop, I would go, I would stop. So 2 years ago, I promised myself that education was going to be a priority for me and that I was going to just go for it and finish school. The second promise that I made myself, December of 2015, was that I would leave the retail industry and that I would personally just completely not look back and just leave the company that I was working for. Worked for Aldo Shoes for a total of 13 years. Some of you guys may have known that, some of you guys may not have known that, but I practically grew up with that company. I started working for them as a sales associate at a very young age. I personally uprooted and moved my life around several times for the company. And they were an amazing company. They treated me very well. They're a great company to work for. But I also think that at the age where I finally had enough of me working in retail, it was because I needed, as a human being, to progress onto the next level. And with Aldo, I moved to Atlanta. They moved me here as a district manager. I was a district manager for them. I was a top sales manager for Aldo in the Northeast and pretty much a Southeast. So I personally decided April of 2017 to officially part ways with Aldo. There was a lot of things that started happening in my personal life, but also the company itself. There were many changes, and one day, it was April 4th or April 7th, April 5th of 2017, I literally just had enough, and I made that day my last day with the company. Now, to some people, the right thing would have been for me to give a 2 weeks notice. But I personally had already had a conversation with Jen probably like a month prior, and had pretty much just told, Jen is my wife, had told her that I pretty much had enough, that I didn't see myself staying with Aldo much longer. I could just sense it. I could feel it. I was at my last bits, and like I was at the end. And literally, I was planning on giving my notice and making April 17th my last day with the company. And April 5th rolled around, and it was literally like, I remember there was a tornado warning in my city where I live. I remember it was raining really bad. I was super anxious and nervous. I got on my knees. I said a prayer to God, and I pretty much just said, whatever happens today, you have my back. And I got to work. Of course, I was late because, once again, there were tornado warnings around here. And I don't know. I feel like everything, the way that it happened, everything happened for a reason. But that day was officially my last day with the company. And I literally went through 3 months looking for a new job. I promised myself I would not go back to retail. And I think towards the third month, or once it started getting closer to the third month, it was more like, okay, now I just need to find anything. And I was willing to go back into retail, knowing truly in my heart that that's not what I wanted. So regardless, I did come across this wonderful man that I personally work for now, and I am no longer in retail. I enjoy nights and weekends off. I personally am in the financial industry, just a little bit differently than what people would actually think. I don't sell. I no longer sell, but I am responsible for managing people. So regardless, I'm enjoying what I'm currently doing. And I think it's a completely different pace from where I was at. So that's a little bit challenging for me, because I went from being completely overwhelmed at all times to now just being a little bit more relaxed. It's a completely different environment. And I stopped making videos for several reasons. One, while I was not working, you would think that I would put all of my time and energy into making videos and being creative and just making my YouTube a priority. But it was quite the complete opposite what happened to me. While I was not working, I actually went through an extreme depression. Like, I just became, and I still get emotional about it, but I just became very, very, very depressed. And a lot of you guys may have experienced a breakup with someone, but if you break up with that person, or I don't know what it feels like to go through a divorce, but I do have friends that have experienced that. It's like literally your soul, it's your other half that you're giving up, or that you have to move on from, or even if you have had your heart broken, that's literally what it felt like for me. Aldo literally was my priority for so many years. And that was something that I struggled with for a majority of the time, because I gave up so many memories with my family and friends, and to be that number one person for Aldo. And yeah, that made me successful. But at the end of the day, or at the end of my time, it literally, now when I look back, it's kind of like, dude, like, you gave up a lot, and that was my personal choice. They didn't put a gun by my head for me to do those things. It was more like I always made them my priority. So when I officially decided to part ways, it was very difficult for me. I questioned myself if I had made the right decision. I questioned myself if it was the right time. I questioned myself pretty much like, how was I gonna make it? Like, how were Jen and I going to continue? Like, how are we gonna continue putting a roof, this beautiful home that I literally had the opportunity of purchasing while I was working for Aldo? Literally, I just felt like a failure. I stayed home every single day. I gained probably like 15 pounds, which right now I'm working on losing those 15 pounds now. Actually, I'm lying. I started working on that in June of 2017. That was a struggle. It's been a struggle. Approaching a year later, and now I can finally talk about this without being angry either at myself or at them. And there's no reason for me to be angry with them. They did absolutely nothing wrong. It was just me. And I learned tremendously from that company how to literally manage a business, how to run my own business. If I decided to drop everything and start my own business today, I know that I would be able to do that because of Aldo. I met so many wonderful people through Aldo. It was just an honest decision that I had to make in order for me to grow up, and literally it wouldn't have came at a better timing. So that is pretty much what happened last year and where I have been. Now, it literally went from one extreme to the next. So going back, so the retail industry normally ends up teaching you that you gotta have like the trendiest, the newest, spend your money type of deal. And now I'm in the complete different aspect of where I was. So I feel like God worked in my favor, because I went from being this crazy person to, no, Mary Ellis, you're 34, almost 35 years old. Get your shit together. Stop putting things on credit cards. Start paying everything off. And let's get you a plan towards your retirement, or let's make sure that you have a safety net for when you have an emergency. Or pretty much, like, Jen has always been really good with saving money, but honestly, like, the industry that I'm currently in is it makes you very cautious of your finances. And it literally, it's working in my favor. It's teaching me something, and that's something that I truly appreciate. Like I mentioned, and I think this will probably be my third time that I'm mentioning this, but it's a completely different pace, and that's a bit of a challenge for me, because I was so used to being overwhelmed and being overworked at all times that now it's kind of like a very easy pace. So this was probably exactly what I needed. And best of all, or the best news of it all, is the fact that I am literally on my last couple of classes. So I am class of 2012. I was able to cross. I had 3 courses left. So they let you walk when you have a certain amount of credits left, and I did. So I had the opportunity of walking in 2012. And in 2012, July of 2012, Aldo asked me to move to New York. So I moved to New York, 8 months there. I'm thinking that from New York, I was going to go back to Rhode Island. New York, they asked me to come here to Atlanta. So I could have said no, but I didn't. I just said, you know what, it's an opportunity. This is gonna look amazing on my resume, you know, whatever. And what's better than experience? So I came here to Atlanta, and this March will be 5 years since I have been here. But June of last year, I officially signed up for classes. So they updated the curriculum, and I ended up adding 4 classes to the 3 that I already had. So right now I'm finishing up 2, and Johnson & Wales does trimesters. I'm doing them online. I'm actually doing a lot better than I did while I was going to classes, but I'm taking 2, and then after this trimester is over in February, I will be done with 1 last class. So needless to say, I will officially have my bachelor's degree. Just that diploma that I just needed, and it was that personal like gratification, or for personal milestone for myself that I needed to check off. And yeah, so that is exciting. What is happening in 2018 is the question. Am I going to continue doing YouTube videos? I think that's really up in the air right now. I started my YouTube channel in late 2010, 2011, and I've never really made it a priority. It's always been a hobby. It's always been something that I will upload videos, and that's pretty much it. I just need to get myself on here and get serious with it. If I want this channel to grow, I may end up just completely changing my name, rebranding myself, and trying something completely different. He was barking. I ended up getting hungry. I grabbed a little snack. I'm not 100% certain like what direction I'm gonna take with YouTube. I filled you guys in on a lot. And I hope you guys liked the video, enjoyed seeing me back. If so, you know what to do. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Stay with me, enjoy the journey, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.